Episode of the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast is brought to you by pmtlifestyle.com. Authentic Muay Thai lifestyle by Pu'u. Definitely go check out the website at pmtlifestyle.com for some awesome lifestyle merchandise. That's for those of you out there either involved in Muay Thai, looking at getting involved in Muay Thai, and embrace a healthier lifestyle to live the life of the Nak Muay. Go check it out.
All right, we're here live with Marc Entenberg. It is hot outside. He just came in from Albuquerque, yeah?
Yeah, I just got in.
So for those that don't know, you just opened up a gym, a Muay Thai gym out in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Correct.
Right? I was just out there. So what's it called? How can people find it?
So our gym's Kingdom Muay Thai. It's Kingdom Muay Thai NM@gmail.com. So if you want to email us, of course,
Yeah.
best way. No, we have our Instagram, Kingdom Muay Thai, through my personal Instagram at Marc Entenberg, or just our website.
Awesome. Well, we'll get more into that in a little bit too. So let's kind of go back a bit for you.
Mm-hmm.
When did you get started in martial arts?
So it's kind of an interesting question. I mean, I started in martial arts at a young age, like trying karate. I think it was
How old were you? Like 4?
No. I didn't last long, so it's not. I tried. I think it was Ishinryu karate, and I did maybe 2 weeks when I was maybe like 8 or 9, but I was too shy to yell during all the katas, and so I just went out. I wrestled in high school, and then later on, when I was 18 years old, I went and started grappling when I lived in Salt Lake. Did some competitions then. I went to a place called the Muay Thai Institute in Salt Lake, which I don't think is around anymore.
I know it's not.
Yeah, but so I went there for a little bit, and it was just huge, but didn't really take too much to it then, just because I was also in school. But in terms of like really immersing myself in martial arts, I'd say when about a decade ago.
Decade? And how old are you now?
I'm 31, so
31.
like, yeah, so right around 20, 21.
Okay, so decade in martial arts and stuff. So when you started over at the institute, like, how did you end up there?
So at the time, I wanted to go to Thailand when I turned 18, and I told my mom that I wanted to go, like everyone wanted to go to Tiger at the time. This was like 2010.
Yeah, that's like probably when they were posting up on YouTube and seeing everything.
So, and she was like, absolutely not. So I was going to school at University of Utah, and I just, at the time, was taking the bus in the tracks places and found this place called the Muay Thai Institute, and also saw they had a place called Fusion Jiu-Jitsu. So I figured I'd give them, they were in one building. So I had already had grappling experience from the city I was living in before on Kalispell. I was at SPGI in Montana. So transitioning to Fusion was easy. And then going into striking, I just didn't take to it too well at the time. It was actually a really intimidating process at the time. Like I remember just being like, wow, these guys are like pretty tough looking people.
Yeah.
So, and at the time I was super young, but so I did a few classes there, and then to really kind of just move back to the jiu-jitsu side of things. I always wanted to get more into striking at that age, but after I did, let's see, it was Grappler's Quest at the time.
Oh,
long time.
That's
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, so it was the Mr. Olympia Grappler's Quest. So, yeah, I remember.
They still do that at Mr. Olympia?
They still do Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, I know that.
But I don't think Grappler's Quest isn't.
They have grappling, but they have a grappling tournament now at the Arnold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did that one too.
They did a Muay Thai one also for the first time.
Didn't they? Wasn't it TBSA?
I think so. Yeah. For those that don't know, TBSA, they do the TBSA tournament. Was it the Muay Thai World Expo? I think is what they call it. That's in Des Moines, Iowa. So yeah, they're the ones that did that one too.
Yeah. So I'd been doing tournaments, like I did the Naga Worlds, and at the time I was So actually, I was 17 turning 18 at the time. So I was able to do the youth and adult. So I really kind of immersed myself in grappling, and I liked it a lot. And then I just got to a point in life where I decided to leave college and go back home to Rochester, New York, and kind of life overtook me and got out of martial arts. And thank God I found it again not that long after, but definitely some hard years after.
Yeah. So when you say hard years, like what?
So I mean, I had issues with substance abuse, depression, just self-identity stuff, a lot of things that we all go through.
Yeah, especially in that age range too.
Yeah, because prior to that, so prior to being in Salt Lake, I was in a treatment center, like kind of like an outpatient, you could say. And before that, I was in a therapeutic school, and before that, I was in wilderness.
Yeah,
wilderness treatment. So from 15 to 17, 18, I was.
That's just crazy. I know what that is. So for those that don't know, what is this wilderness?
Yeah. So wilderness. So you want me to just explain how it works?
Explain the whole process from intake.
Yeah.
How they get you guys there.
For sure. So it was funny because like growing up as a kid, I wasn't getting into tons of trouble. I would get like suspended in detention and stuff like that, but I wasn't in any sort of trouble with the law. Like, I smoked weed and I drank like and partied and stuff. Nothing crazy, but either way, my mom threatened me. She's like, "I'm gonna send you away one of these days," and I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure, whatever."
Yeah, sure, Mom.
Right, exactly. So, my junior year of high school, like my bed was, if the door was on the other side of the room, my bed was all the way to the wall. Right, so I just feel like my mom's shaking me to wake me up, and I turn around and she like goes out to the main door, and these two big guys walk in. And I'm just like, wake up for a second. It's like 3 a.m. And then I realize like, holy shit, this is what she was talking about. I don't know if I can swear, but anyway.
Yeah, of course you can swear.
But yeah, so.
But it's also there's two grown ass men there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I figure out that they're sending me away. At the time, I had like a girlfriend that I thought I was in love with, just like everyone who's 15 years old. You know what I mean? And let's see. I was smoking, like addicted, smoking 2 packs a day. Like just wasn't in a great place, but wasn't in the worst place. It could be way worse. Either way, I was still at my mom's house. So I start freaking out, trying to say anything I can to get them to change their mind. Eventually my dad comes in and like the transporters tell them that like they can leave, and they try and calm me down and say that I'm gonna be back in 3 to 4 weeks, that I'm just gonna go to this program and that I'm gonna get the help I need, whatever. So they calm me down. And what happens next is they, let me get dressed. They pulled, I remember at the time I had this brown Hollister hoodie. So I had this brown Hollister hoodie. Yeah. And that was the thing back
Hollister,
the faux fur ones. Yeah. So one held me like by the front, one held me by the back. They took me outside and put me in this GMC Envoy and drove me to the Buffalo airport, not the Rochester airport. So that was smart on their part. So, cause I had no idea where I was at the time. So, we go to the Buffalo airport. We leave maybe like 6, 7 in the morning, and then all of a sudden we're in Atlanta, Georgia. And then I get passed off to 2 other guys who take me to what's a place called Second Nature Wilderness. So I'm still like in shock at this point in time. Like just hours ago I was in my bed not expecting any of this.
You're just like gonna wake up the next day and do it again, right?
Exactly. So then they take you to the main headquarters in Clayton, Georgia, right? And they do like drug tests on you. They do like they make you squat like a catcher and make sure you're not holding anything.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and they make you put on a robe. Like I had like some earrings in my cartilage, so they take all your jewelry and stuff like that, take your clothes, and they give you like a basic yellow shirt, like cargo pants, boots, and Crocs, and just some basic stuff to take with you. And then they take you to, let's say like at the base of the mountain, there's like a Chick-fil-A. And they like are like, oh well, like you get anything you want. They offer you like anything you want.
This is the last time you're getting it, essentially. Yeah.
And like I mean, I'm sure everyone regrets it, but I couldn't even think about eating at the time. Like, so I was just like, I don't think I got anything. And then like, so anyway, so don't get a last meal. Maybe I got fries or something. I don't remember. I'm pretty sure I didn't get anything. I was pretty stomach sick for the whole what
happened.
The fuck is happening. Yeah. So then, like, and this whole time you're, like, asking, like, when can you talk to your parents? Because you're, like, the more and more you realize what's happening, you're just more and more pissed. Like, what is going on? But, yeah, so you can't do any calls. Like, there's no communication. You don't have anything with you in your pockets. There's nothing. So, like, they drive you up into the mountains for probably, Blue Ridge Mountains for probably, like, 45 minutes, an hour, like, just deep in the mountains. And then all of a sudden you get out and you see 10 guys that are dressed the same way as you, just in different color shirts and just more dirty and look like they haven't showered in forever. so I spent time there. So you get out, and essentially, like in a nutshell, what you do is you have hiking days and then you have therapy days. And that's all you do really, is you hike and you do group therapy, and you have like an individual therapist, but you don't see yourself until you're out. There's no future questions. So you can't ask like about what you're doing today, what you're doing later, when you're leaving, there's no, you can't, so you're just there,
Do they have mirrors or anything like that?
Mm-mm.
No, nothing.
No, I remember when I got there, I thought I was going to be there like 3 to 4 weeks, right? Mm-hmm. So then I remember finding out that like the average time was like 6 to 9 weeks.
Oh, shit.
And then I was like, shit.
So you get buckled in, yeah.
Yeah, so then you just, you don't get there's no indoors, so there's no bathrooms. You use a latrine, like you dig a latrine and all that, and like, you have to call your name every 5 seconds when you're using the bathroom.
So they know you're not running away.
Exactly. They take your shoes at night. You sleep under a tarp, so if you do a good job, then you'll stay dry.
Yeah.
And then you either do a hike or you do therapy, or sometimes both, and then when it's your time to go, they'll just, in the middle of whatever you're doing, they'll just say you're either going to something that's called transition, which is where your parents come and meet you for like a day or so till either you go home or you go to another program, or they just stop everything and they say, okay, Jonathan's leaving today, and we're going to do a circle group and wish him like good luck, and everyone says their goodbyes and never see you again.
Shit.
But it's that quick.
Yeah, just, all right, pull the Band-Aid off, go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's tricky because it's like you think that moment can happen anytime. Like I remember like my birthday was 6 weeks in, and I remember doing this hike, and I was sure that like after every bend, I'm like, I know that I'm gonna have my group today.
Like this is the way we're gonna do the circle.
I'm like I know that my parents are gonna do something like special. Like I know that like there's no way that I'm like not leaving today. It's 6 weeks. I think I stayed another 5 weeks after that.
Shit.
So yeah.
It's just like waiting.
Yeah, I mean, but it was one of those hikes, because we did one hike that was called Raven Bald, and it was just this, I think it was like the second tallest peak in that vicinity in Georgia, and we did it a couple of times, but it wasn't as steep as that, but it was a hike that was just, there's a lot of twists and turns. So I was thinking that like any of those times that like there's going to be like a car, because that was sometimes it was that quick where you would just see the car and you'd have the group and the person would go.
Shit.
And then there were sometimes like, I think the hardest part is they would do these things called solos, which was when you wake up, there's 2 commands. They'd either say, or not commands, but just what they would say. They'd either say, hit the snooze, which means that you guys are staying where you are that day, and you get like 20 more minutes of sleep or whatever. You really have no sense of time, really. And then, or pack it all up, which means get your stuff ready because we're hiking, right? Yeah. So what they would do is they would hit the snooze, and then you would go do your breakfast cycle. Everything's timed. Like you have to be
you have routine.
Yes, yeah. There's consequences for everything. So if someone in the group isn't, like cleaning the water filters fast enough, if people aren't drinking all their water, like there was one time where like in order for us, like our treat it was called gorp. It was just trail mix. And the only way that you would get your gorp and your fruit is if you ate all the vegetables in the week. Mind you, like we've got like zucchinis, bell peppers, and like onions, but like it's all like covered in dirt just because like we're all just kind of carrying it around. Yeah,
bringing it around.
So me and like 2 of my buddies in their group, just like we were about to get re-upped on our food, and we just hunkered down and like ate just raw onion. We were just crying, laughing, because like that's, I mean, like at the time, like, so there was like some like good like times, and like some freedom in there, but yeah, I mean, the hardest part was definitely those solos. So solos are pretty much where they tell you that you're doing like a solo, that they're going to bring you to a place in the woods. So mind you, none of this is like campsite. So there's not people around.
No.
There's not like
you're just out in the wilderness.
Yes,
yeah, you're out in nature.
Yep. And then so they like blindfold you first of all, and then they take you by a stick, they bring you and they show you like maybe, I don't know, like 20 feet that's yours, where you set up your shelter, which you already know how to do. And then if you know how to make fire, like, because you learn how to bow drill and stuff, so you're allowed to if you're at like a certain point, and then you just wait. They say, just wait here, and then when you hear us bang on pots, we'll come get you. And they leave you there for, I think it's either 2.5, maybe 3 days. I'm not sure.
Oh, shit. Oh, like solitary confinement of being in nature by yourself, huh?
Well, typically you only do one of them in your stay. I did it 3 times, and one of them was like a kind of a different experiment that they did with me specifically. But the trick of it is you never know when they're coming. So your anxiety is just through the roof, because you're like, are you gonna be done in a few hours? Then the next day comes, and it's like, most people have never spent that much time with themselves. It'd be even harder now just because everyone's on their cell phones. Back then, I think I had like an NV2 phone, so it wasn't on my phone that much, but still, like, being able to sit with your thoughts, like your guilt, like everything that you have done and just, or not done, like whether it's trauma, whatever, but just being able to sit with nothing but yourself until it's over is like a skill in of itself,
Oh yeah.
But as a kid, it messes with a lot of people, and it's also, there's that pressure of like, you kind of have that camaraderie in the group where you don't want to be the one that breaks it, because in order for somebody to break it, they have to call for staff, so you would hear it. So you can't see where anyone else is in their sight. Like, so everyone's spread out. They know where you are, but you don't know where anyone else is. So, I mean, the first one was the hardest, and then I'm trying to think the second. I mean, they were all hard, but the first one, when you don't know how long it's going to be, and it's something that, for instance, once you do it, you're not allowed to talk about it, so you can't tell other people in the group what's going on.
Like what it was like, or anything.
Because sometimes there are other people like me who stayed like longer than average, who they called it Fight Club. So, and like, for obviously you can't talk about Fight Club, right, but that's like how it was talked about.
We're talking about it right now,
exactly. Right, but it's that was brutal. And then I think just the time, I mean, by the time I was finished there, it's like you don't even really want to leave, because you don't know where to go, what to do. Like, you're just broken to your bottom core. And then especially if you're not going home, you're going to another therapeutic program, which most of them have been shut down now. Yeah. But the one I got shut down. And I mean, I saw they're doing like a documentary on it and all.
Yeah, it was on Netflix, like Hulu. They've done a couple of them.
Mm-hmm. So I went to, right after that, like literally immediately after that, my mom took me to a program in Montana that I was there for 21 months, including, so yeah.
Wait, so like that, when you say program, is it another nature program? Like,
no, so we were in like, so it was in the mountains in Marion at first, right? So there's like one road in, one road out, like, but nothing but just this campus, just right in the middle of nowhere. And then you just, you go to school, you have therapy, you have like chores, and it's very like, it's very routine based.
So the intention was to try to get you on like a basic routine and try to get you out of whatever shit you're dealing with back home. Yeah,
I think there was good intention, but I think the problem is that it becomes just, I mean, if there's flaws in every system, and there's major flaws in this one, because it's not realistic. And what I mean is that, like, so that even if you learn all these emotional tools, right, how to talk about emotions, how to understand emotions and regulate and so on and so forth, when you get out into the real world, especially if you're 18, no one gives a fuck about that stuff. So what it really did was it produced a bunch of very sensitive people. Yeah. And release them into society, because when you leave and when the money stops coming, like, they're not there for you.
No, it's just, all right, bye.
Exactly.
All right, he's fixed. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's not the case. I mean, out of my group, so, I mean, I know in my wilderness group and in my group in Montana, I mean, I think some of them just are off the face of the earth. Some of them have died and committed suicide, overdosed. Like, it's a very, I mean, yeah. And some do okay, like, and find a way, and like, but it is tough, like, and it's, in my mind, it's doing more damage than it is good. Yeah. Because it's just, it doesn't work. It's almost like the Inception method of, like, they're just breaking you down so much, trying to plant this seed and build you as a new person. Yeah. And then being like, yep, this new person is gonna do well. But it's like,
they don't sit there and water the plant afterwards, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And and a lot of people still just, like, focus on what, like, when they leave and things go bad or things aren't going their way, like in the beginning, it's like, it's really easy to go back, get mad at your parents, get mad at these programs, because it's like, you're not fully understanding of, like, what to do with life. But the way I got into martial arts was when in that same program, there's a transition house, it's like a halfway house. Mm-hmm. And I ended up going to another program after that halfway house.
Oh shit.
That's where Salt Lake was. But the halfway house was in Kalispell, Montana, so it's in town. And one of the activities was going to this gym called Straight Blast Gym. This is way before, like, Conor McGregor was the star. And I had like a volunteer job there, like cleaning mats and then learning jujitsu. So me and my buddy Troy, who's in my group, was also in the transition house, and he would go and do jujitsu like on the weekends and make as many classes as we could. And that's where it started. And then when I went to yet another program, because mind you, you can't leave until you're 18.
Mm-hmm. You're in it. Yeah, that's where your parents have you. That's where you're gonna be.
Mm-hmm. Like there's not. I mean, you can run, but they're gonna find you and just make it
probably add more time. Yeah,
exactly. So, and it's a phase system. That's the thing that's hard, is that I used to always say that wish I went to juvie, because at least I'd have like a sentence like, this is the day
you get out. Yeah,
right. Versus this, there is no day that you get out. It's you could literally get to the 4th out of the 5th phase and make a tiny mistake, and your therapist could just be like, level 1 back to the bottom.
Oh fuck.
There were people there for a long time.
Yeah, I remember it was in there, and they were talking like some people there for like over a year.
I was.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's crazy, man.
Yeah, like I mean, you're in isolation. Like,
what do you think that did? Like when you're going through that, what do you think was like the biggest takeaway for you personally that you like looking back now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what did you? Obviously, it's some fucked up stuff. Getting kidnapped in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no matter what it is, right? But what do you think that like was your key takeaway from that? That like you learned about yourself.
I mean, I'd say self like reliance.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of like, I know everyone uses the term, and I mean, you hear Goggins talk about like living in your head, but for me, it's more of like living with yourself in another way, in the sense of just being able to be reliant on yourself, like your own emotions, and like really being able to be like reliant on just yourself in any situation. Like I'm trying to think of a more elaborate way to put it, but there really isn't, in the sense of like learning how to talk to yourself. You know, like it's not weird to talk to yourself. I do it all the time.
No.
You know, I mean, some people think it's like strange, but like I talk to myself all the time, whether it's out loud or not, but like in any situation, learning how to survive is what I've learned, you know, and being able to like almost use the tools that they gave me, but for my own good. Yeah. So not wasting the things that they did teach me, because don't get me wrong, like I think that there's a lot of problems, and like there's a lot of really messed up things that went on there in that time. Like there's a very PG version of what happened and what it was like. Yeah. Right. But like I still learned a lot, you know, just
so you know, you don't need to keep it PG unless you don't want to go into it.
No, I don't mind. Like it just like.
So like what's the example? Like what do you mean?
Yeah, I mean,
because for me, I've never been.
So
I had a girlfriend that got taken away into one of these programs.
For sure. Yeah. So like, I mean, like, let's see. I mean, like it's not. There's just a lot of uncomfortable groups, in the sense of where there would be inappropriate topics talked about, like with like an older staff, and there would be one person in the middle who had to go through like some sort of story, and then it would be all of us, men and women, so boys and girls at the time, and just like hearing these like very graphic and rough things,
like sexually graphic kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, some were about sexual abuse, some were drug abuse, but it was everyone's trauma, like just hearing all of it. Oh. And the thing is that at the time, it's like it teaches you things that you don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, like I never went down that road after, but like there's people that I know who struggled with that later on.
Oh, I'm sure.
You know, and it's like the thing is that you talk so much about like drugs and alcohol and stuff like that, and it's stuff that you may never have done, but like when you get out, like I became a huge addict, like, on a completely different level than I was. I mean, like I said, I smoked weed and cigarettes and drank on the weekends, and like I was a party kid, but I wasn't like
drug addict, shoot up heroin.
And even back then, I did most of it by myself. I was like smoking a bong in my attic type guy. Like on my computer type kid. Really, like I didn't have a ton of friends. Like I got moved around.
Oh, you played like StarCraft or something?
No, I was like watching like WWE clips, like UFC clips, just like on LimeWire, like, you know, like that. Yeah, like, so I mean, but I mean, there's stuff like that, and then we just had like trying to think of it. So there's so many just weird examples that go through my mind, you know, just like if let's say we were friends, right, and they felt like we were getting too close, like just as friends, they would just do something that's called a 10-foot, which means that we could not be near each other until we would have to write a formal proposal, even though we didn't do anything wrong. And it was the same thing with like if you just had a girlfriend, if they felt like you guys were too close, they would just separate you guys. So it really made it like this inability to get close to anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't until like, I think you're 9 months in your third phase that you could get a phone card to call your parents once a week for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, even in that program, like, I think for the first 3 phases, which was like around 6-9 months a year, just depending on how you progressed. And that's the thing, is if you don't progress and do things the way that they want you to, then you just get stuck there.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to like figure out exactly like where to start, because it's such a long period of time.
No,
you know?
man. I like,
if you have specific like questions, I have no problem answering any of them. But like, yeah, I mean, just some of the topics that were discussed and the way that they were discussed, I think is really just wasn't right, you know?
Yeah.
And there's definitely a lot of individuals who should not be in a therapeutic setting with authority that were.
so you think it was like some manipulation?
Oh, 100%.
Like that kind of stuff that they were using against them?
100%.
Yeah.
And even me, like in my therapy sessions, you know, like in the sense of like they purposely try and trigger you or get you to fuck up so they can prove that if they break you, then they can fix you.
Yeah.
How do you think they quantified to the parents that they're doing something?
Yeah. Hey, look, we did the XYZ. Look, he's better now.
Well, it's like if you have a phone call where your therapist can get you really upset because they know how to push your buttons and all that, and they show your parents like, oh, see, he's really struggling, but then the next week they know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But then they just keep it going, because the thing is the longer you stay, the more they make.
Yeah, that's like, well, there's no incentive really for them to make you like quote better. Right. They just keep getting paid money.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was just kind of like like mental torture, I guess, for a long time. Like, it's very cult-like in the sense of like when you leave there, like I remember my friends that go back, even the ones that didn't do drugs or anything before, when I finally went back to visit home, they were like, you're brainwashed or something. Like, they're just something
wrong with you.
Oh yeah. Like, you know, like, I mean, you're just not the same, you know? And the thing is that you lost this crucial time of how to interact as a teenager.
Involvement.
Yeah. So like where you should be at college, you're not, because
man, think about this. So we went back from COVID.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of kids had the same problem.
Exactly.
Same did is missed his gap 2 years.
Yeah.
Done.
Well, we're seeing the same thing in society, just this very sensitive society and not realistic society. And the thing is that, like I said, for me, I was very fortunate in the way that I feel like it made me tougher, in the sense of like I didn't spend a lot of time like upset about it,
mm-hmm.
you know, like, but like to this day, there's still groups that like I'm in on Facebook, and there's people from my time that are still like reflecting and talking about it. Like it's still part of their day, and it's amazing to me. Like, and I don't mean any disrespect towards them, but like I don't really think about it. Like, I don't feel bad for myself about it. Like, it's more of like, it's just part of my wiring now, you know, but it's, you know, I think psychology is a very dangerous tool. Like, it's like, it's like a dark magic, you know, if you understand psychology and like from a very fundamental level, like you can really mess with people.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Well, that's kind of like, you know, and everybody deals with their traumas in a different
mm-hmm.
way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody could come from a different background to that point, and then whatever you have happen afterwards. Man.
I mean, just think about it. It's like, it's just not possible, because it's not like a checklist that you, like they specifically say stuff like that. It's not like a checklist of things that you do to get out, which it really kind of should be. My point is, it's really, if I can convince you as my therapist that I'm ready to leave.
Mm.
But that means that I'm just learning to appease you. It's just you, one person, you know. It doesn't matter if I convince everyone else, just as long as I can make one person believe this.
That's crazy.
And it's like that one person has control of your whole life, but they really don't give a fuck about you.
No, they just care about the money that's coming in.
Oh yeah, because I left and I called the staff and like called them, you know, because they said to, you know, and no, they were gone. Like, you know, like you never existed.
Yeah.
You know, and don't get me wrong, like, as shitty as it was, like, I mean, the death marches in like negative 35-degree weathers, like as our activity on Saturday, you know, like one of our like privileges was going to AA meetings when we were on the 4th phase. We got to get taken to town and go to AA.
To like be around other people.
That was a privilege. Yeah. So like, it was just like, you just are in this for a long, like, I think the hardest moment I remember, like, I'll never forget it. I think I was probably like 3 months in, and I was just sitting at the lunch table, and there's these big like bay windows that look out to the mountains, which is like, yeah, beautiful and all that. But you also are just like, holy fuck, like, I am never going to get out of here.
No.
You know, and then like, especially when you're doing like drudgery or whatever they're having you do, you're just like in this frozen spot, and you're either going to get comfortable there. And they always say, like, don't make this place your home. It's like, well, no one fucking wants to make it their home. But the thing is, you break people down so much that, like, not everyone at that age is smart enough and strong enough and has the ability to be like, all right, I need to, like, because I remember I was actually at the time, like, when I was there, the fastest person to get to the third phase. And a lot of the kids did not like me for that. And I mean, I have no problem admitting, like, I just understood, just do what they fucking want. And even doing that, I was still there forever.
Yeah.
You know, because phases 4 and 5 took me forever.
Because they probably knew what to think. He's just doing it. But we're telling him to do.
But you're
That's
fucking right.
do,
exactly.
Right?
That's the point. And it's like, it was this impossible system that they had to make work. You know what I mean? Like, because that's the thing is like, if they're not keeping you there and they're getting you out of there sooner, then they're losing a big profit margin.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and even though a lot of like people who like use like health insurance or health write-offs or whatever to like whatever, but like the thing is those schools still make money off it. This isn't out of the kindness of their heart. This isn't a government thing. This is something that an educational consultant convinced your parents that you needed, and they were sold on. And for instance, it reminds me of the movie Heavyweights. Disney, where like he comes home and like they try and convince him to go to camp, and they show him the video, and then all of a sudden it's a fat camp, and he's like, like, but it's the same thing. It's like there's a person in the middle that controlled that whole process. That like when my parents were like, because my brother had similar issues, so my brother went to a completely different program. Both him and I were in programs, but he was older, so he was able to actually so he went when he was, I believe, 17, so he wasn't there that long. So they were smart, and they gave him a way cushier wilderness and program in California. So but he still was like, peace at 18.
Yeah.
Me, I was there. They got me way before him. So I was there 15 to 18. So even when I got out of that halfway house in Montana, I still had to go to an outpatient in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
And that's where I started martial arts. And I was going to school at the University of Utah, and like I pretty much dropped out. You know, I ended up getting my degree 10 years later from a different school. But the thing is like, I mean, I had been in isolation for like 2.5, almost 3 years at the time. And then I'm at one of the biggest schools. Like, my classrooms were like auditoriums.
All of a sudden, like, well,
I had no idea how to make friends or how to start conversation. Like, oh, what do you like to do? It's like, I don't know what I like to do. I've kind of just been told what to do the past
3 years. Yeah. The very formative years where you're trying to find more what you are, what you're going to do.
Right. And then when you're guessing, you know what you're going to guess. You're going to guess at things that you just learned. So all those drug talks, all those things that you just learned, that's what you're going to go towards. Because that's the thing you just know the most of.
Yeah.
Because you've talked about it nonstop, hearing people's stories and like so on and so forth, and just doing groups and fucking sessions after sessions, that it's like, by the time like I got out of that, when I was in outpatient, I mean, I was doing so much narcotics that, I mean, I'm very blessed to this day that I'm still here. And I was like that for, I mean, it's funny because people would ask like, what was your favorite drug? And it was all of them.
Whatever I can get my hands on. Yeah.
From 17 to like the next couple years, like it was just, that's all I did, you know, that's all. I mean, because it's like, I mean, that's what I felt like I knew the most about, you know, and that's how I found my identity in a sense. Luckily, like, and once again, blessed again that I met people who mentored me in other ways and other things that pulled me out. You know, I'd met a girl that I didn't, like, I was nervous about her not being sober, so I wanted to be sober, and so on and so forth. But either way, like, to answer your first and original question, I think being able to walk alone, you know,
being comfortable with it.
Yeah. And that's, you know, and that's what gave me the ability to like go to Thailand by myself. Like I went with a couple of friends once, and they stayed for a couple of weeks. But other than that, I've always gone by myself. Like, and I've loved that, you know, like that, like being able to go out, and like, same with my fight career, like being that nomad and going out and about. It's not, I mean, once I left home, I didn't have a home again. At least it never felt like home again. So now I'm settled in Albuquerque, and like, that's where my daughter is and life is. But after that, like, I mean, I used that ability to, you know, be alone to my advantage. Like that's where we are.
I definitely can see that because being alone, martial arts, it's a very lonely sport, and going into pro fighting and stuff too. So we went over to Thailand. You fought over there, right? What was your first, so the first time you went to Thailand, where did you go?
I went to Chiang Mai. I started in Bangkok, and then I went to Phuket, and then I ended up in Chiang Mai.
Okay.
So Bangkok and Phuket were kind of, I had a close friend with me, a couple of friends with me, and they wanted to see those places. Chiang Mai was the ultimate destination of where I was going because one of my mentors in martial arts, and he's a great coach, Clay Matsu, he cornered me in my last fight and has been in my corner from day one when I moved to Albuquerque. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be doing any of this or in martial arts. He's a phenomenal coach. Anyway, he had told me about his experience at Lana Muay Thai years before he went into MMA.
Well, so he was at the old Lana Muay Thai.
Yes.
Andy, I think, was the...
yeah.
Is that where you went to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's where I went.
I think we talked about this last time we were hanging out.
Yeah, so I went there, and that was where I kept going back to every time I would go back. Yeah. And then it ended up splitting into 2 Lanas, and then boom, Lana Muay Thai, and then I think there still is Lana Muay Thai, just not the same one or the same location.
Yeah.
But I would go for a month and a half to 2 months, and then come back to Albuquerque, work, go back, and just did that back and forth for a couple of years.
Oh, and you were fighting over there? What was the first time like over there for you? For first time you competed over there? Because did you fight here in the U.S. before you did?
Yeah, so I fought MMA here in the States, and then I fought kickboxing in a Muay Thai amateur event as well. Okay. I fought for kickboxing title and did some amateur Muay Thai and did MMA before.
Okay.
And then my striking just was not up to par, and it was kind of just revisiting that dream. Clay had given me this great advice to go find myself, because I was struggling even in Albuquerque at the time, just with my identity. I started to kind of drift towards substances and started to drift off from martial arts a bit, but when I went to Thailand, I kind of refound myself in that, and in that I just loved it. I loved being a stranger, as weird as it sounds. I loved learning about a culture. I loved just being a fly on the wall, obviously a very active fly on the wall, getting thrown around and, hitting pads and stuff. But at the same time, I enjoyed just sitting around with the trainers and listening and stuff like that.
Trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Exactly. And I met some really cool, some friends that to this day I'm friends with on those trips, and who've helped me form this gym and the ideas behind it. But the first time I competed was one of the coolest experiences ever. Don't get me wrong, it was not, it was a Taipei stadium, and I didn't know who I was fighting. So I remember yeah,
that's how it is. Yeah. Anybody that doesn't know, you just kind of show up and they go, oh, you guys are about the same size.
Right. Yeah. So I remember we drove from the gym, and it was me, my buddy Niall, and Dean, who were from Isle of Man in UK. And we were on the back of this truck just driving through Chiang Mai, and I just remember feeling it's the 3 of us going out to war. So it was cool. Just because it was just a holy shit experience. We're doing this thing, even though at the end of the day, looking back, it wasn't a dangerous hard fight. He was a younger Thai guy, and don't get me wrong, any fight can be hard, or can be,
shit can get bad real quick.
Exactly. You know what I mean? It's what you make of it. What's that phrase? The wolf is as big as you make it appear. Right. So it's and never judge a book by its cover. So it's he was actually taller than me, which was shocking. So because I'm 6 foot, and so it's 6 foot Thai guy, very thin, younger guy.
Big.
Yeah. So, but he was thin. So, and I won that fight. But yeah, it was a great experience, and I think that's where I started really, wanting to not just win, because I wasn't happy that I just beat, but I wanted to get tougher opponents, and I wanted to advance, and I wanted to grow, and that was kind of what I focused on, and that's kind of how I am now, in the sense of it doesn't matter who you beat, world champions and stuff like that. The thing is those are great accomplishments, but there will always be someone else.
Yeah.
Any fight that you could have always done X, Y, and Z, even if you win. Even when I've won fights, this last fight, I'm just rounds 4 and 5, I could have done this, but you'll always have that. But learning to build myself as a fighter, and then versus and get ready for whatever comes through the gate is my focus. Because people be like, oh, do you watch tape on the person? Not really. It's because of that experience, because it's either like, for me, it's like, I'm not going to focus on their game. It's like, I'm just going to prepare my best game and focus on that thing. And everyone has their own perspective, and in my opinion, there's no right or wrong. It's what works for you. But yeah, I mean, and that's kind of what I tell my guys is like, be ready for whatever comes through the gate, because
you
never know, there's no surprises, because at the end of the day, it's like, if you can like get yourself dialed to who you want to be that night, that moment, like that's all that matters. And that's the thing, is it's a mental thing of a switch of like, who do you want to be out there? And that's kind of how I've been in my last few fights, because I had to take a hiatus off for COVID, my daughter, and then tore my ACL, came back, lost my brother. So it's like, but ever since I came back and had these last 2 fights at BKFC, I've definitely found, I think, a very strong like mental philosophy behind what I do.
So with BKFC, for those that don't know, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, right? How, like, sorry to cut you off. Like, how did you get into BKFC? Like, how did that knock on the door come? Because you went from Muay Thai, you were doing MMA, did some kickboxing, you went to Muay Thai, Thailand, and you're going all in. This is like post Mark being in lockup in this nature wilderness, refugee camp, right?
Yeah.
You're just kind of stuck there after being kidnapped in the middle of the night. Right, like when I put in this context,
one time we'll have to have a podcast of just all the stories of the failed kidnap attempts. They're hilarious.
Well, dude, if anybody's out there and you're watching this, or if you're listening to this and you want to hear more about it, let us know at Pu'u Muay Thai. You can also let Mark know.
Anytime.
Yeah. I'll put his Instagram down in the show notes and stuff too. But definitely let us know in the comments also if you want to hear more of that. But
for sure,
there's a lot that you could.
Oh yeah,
I'm sure you can go on for days.
Yeah, I started writing like 3 or 4 books and about just that. But
yeah,
we are now. Sorry to cut you off.
Yeah, you're good, bro. No, so like, how did you when it comes back into it? How did you get into Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship?
Yeah, so once again, like whatever comes through the gates, right? So I actually was living in Hawaii prior to returning to Albuquerque. So this was 2022, and then while I was there, they gave me a fight with Lion Fight against Nam Phan, and that was going to be, I believe, in July or September. And then
Nam Phan, the MMA fighter.
Yes.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So I was like the same, because I mean the guy, I mean he's a vet.
He's a journeyman.
Yeah,
he fights everybody.
So I was like, sure, like let's do it. And then they kept pushing the fight back, and at this point it got to like December, and I had already moved back to Albuquerque, and then they moved it to February, and then finally they gave me a date, and I just kept training, and I want to say it was in June, and it was against Sean Schubert, and that fight in of itself, I mean, nothing but respect for Sean. Like I follow him, and I think he does great things. He's good friends with like my friends, and we've never met, but we're in the same circle. And also it's like, for me, it was a special fight because when I lost for the New England title, he was the guy that beat me. So it's kind of like a 5-6 year turnaround of like redemption. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a great fight, So anyway, that fight kept getting pushed back again. And then I'm training with Carlos Condit and John Dodson, are holding pads for me at the time. And those are who I was working with the most. And we're getting ready for this Muay Thai fight, and John is in BKFC, and I don't know really how the conversation, but I was good friends with a manager who helped me a lot, Ricky Steady, who works at BKFC, and I was just like, is there any opportunities that are coming here? And then they're like, this is the guy, and they just gave me a name, and I walked in the gym and told John, I was like, we're doing BKFC. Like, because I told myself, whoever gives me that contract first, if it was Lion Fight, great. If it was BKFC, great. It's just, I've been ready, like mentally just prepared.
I want to fight, yeah.
Oh, I mean, I'd been waiting for a very, very long time, just because I'd been putting in like just hours and hours of like focusing, shadow boxing, and just like preparing, like all this stuff. The 3 years before like that break, like I said, with COVID, my daughter, losing my brother, the ACL tear.
It's a lot.
Oh, it was right around there in terms of like the hardest times of my life, you know.
Yeah.
Thank God for my daughter, you know. But yeah, so like that's what appeared. So it's just that opportunity, and you know, it was very interesting because a lot of people were saying like, this is way out of your scope, you know, it's a different style, like it's a lot faster paced, like, and just, I mean,
it's relatively new. Like it's like,
yeah,
what did it come around 2020?
Yeah,
when they first got sanctioned, I think it was like in Wyoming, not Wyoming. It was like in Cincinnati or something random like that, Mississippi, where they had like a really lax commission. I remember I watched it. I got the first BKFC. I'm like, I need to watch this shit.
Right.
Like, this is crazy. These guys are fighting bare knuckle in the U.S.
Yeah. So that fight, you know, got offered to me, and we trained for it, and it was like a completely different. Like it was it was more than just changing gears. It was just like, changing sports, but it was like just a complete change of things in terms of how I sparred, how I trained, and everything. But also like figuring out how the skill set I had from Muay Thai could be applicable.
Yeah.
Like obviously I can't kick, knee, elbow, any of that. But like just my stance, my style, how I could use those things to my advantage. So having both John and Carlos helped me a ton in terms of like refining and changing my style up a bit. The fight went really well, and obviously I'm very self-critical in the sense of like there's mistakes that happen in the first round. Yeah. But got it done in the second. And then they offered me another one.
So you said got it done, knocked it out, or what? What do you mean?
So I didn't knock him out cold, but so I dropped him
second round.
I dropped him in the first in like the very beginning, and then I think two more times I hit him what I thought was to be very hard, but then in the second round I just stepped off and hit him with a right hand that busted his eye open. And he I think verbally tapped her. I'm not sure, but
he said done.
So
that's and going into like with a BKFC, so you want to go from Muay Thai fighting with like a boxing glove, right, to fight like, you know, you train with MMA guys that obviously know a little bit more about smaller glove size and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like, did you make some adaptations? Because for those that don't know too, like BKFC, you get a little bit of tape around your wrist and your thumb. That's about it.
Right. And I think it has to be
two knuckles width behind your.
Yeah. To be honest, like, and I've always loved training in small gloves. So I've done a lot of people's, like, worked with people on their camps with MMA gloves.
You did MMA before too.
Yeah, and like I've always wanted to do MMA glove Muay Thai too. So I love small gloves. So, and to be honest, like small gloves feel out of all big gloves, small gloves, no gloves, small MMA gloves are the scariest feeling thing ever. They just feel like rocks on your hand.
Yeah.
But the thing is like one of the biggest things that I preach and I do a ton is I shadow box for hours. Like, just like I said, like how I used to, like I talk to myself. That's me talking to myself.
Yeah,
shadow box.
100%.
That's what I do. Is I'll just, if you watch my ring in my house, like you'll just see me in the backyard for hours, just shadow boxing and thinking things through and so on and so forth. So when they finish wrapping your hands, you're just like, oh, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know. So, it was good to be able to get the change it of experience and like getting a lot of MMA guys in different looks. I didn't really work with many Muay Thai people for that camp, but there also wasn't many around. Like I said, if there was a Muay Thai opportunity available, then I would have gladly taken it.
Yeah, you were telling me, It's like when we first started like talking.
Exactly. Too, it was just like whatever is. So, and even now, like, so Muay Thai is definitely where my heart and passion is, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I had a great time with BKFC. Like it's a completely different thing. It's raw and it's just very, it's I don't know.
Dude, you're getting in a fist fight with somebody else who's also skilled in violence too.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that there's there's always a puncher's chance. In fights, there's always a puncher's chance. In BKFC especially, right? Because like you could be winning a fight and you can get nicked by somebody's pinky with them going backwards and it cuts you in the wrong spot and you're done. Even if you won 4 rounds, that's how it goes, you know? So it's like, it's so unpredictable and it just like, I just love it, you know, like it's a completely different thing than Muay Thai, like in terms of like obviously the culture and the way it is. And I think that like, I might not fit in that way. Like I don't really talk shit. Like I just,
I want to fight. Sure.
Yeah. Like, the way I see it is like, if I agree to fight someone, like talking shit is just like, what are they going to do? Agree to fight me again or something? Like, I don't know. We've already agreed on this. So
yeah. Well, the other thing, there's another fighter from Muay Thai. Her name is Fanny. She's from Greece. She was fighting BKFC. I think she was champion. I think.
Maybe.
For BKFC for a while.
Yeah.
I think 118 pounder or something like that. But from Muay Thai, because she was fighting like cut choke, rope fights.
Yep.
And it was like, oh, okay, I can see why you'd probably be a little more comfortable with that.
Yeah, and like I think just any I mean, I've talked to a bunch of people about like, I mean, I would do karate combat, I would do like one style.
Karate combat's dope, dude. I like the style versus style stuff.
Yeah, I liked how they did that too. So like really, I think because I'm not old, I'm 31. Like I mean, I'm still.
No, you're ready to go, bro.
I feel like I'm at the strongest point that I've ever been, both mentally and physically, especially like being a coach and like running a gym. Like one of the biggest things that I wanted to do was be active. So not just be the coach that has stepped out of it, but I wanted to be in it with my guys, which is both a blessing and a curse because it's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
It's one thing to manage your own camp. It's also another thing to finish your own camp and then go right into someone else's.
Yeah.
Because especially like when you have, a family, like
you're the head guy.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so I come off as scatterbrained a lot, but it's just because I'm like piecing little things together.
Oh, 100%.
But, I think it's like, it's always just, you got to keep going with, I mean, I love this. And when people are like, what's this? It's like, I love Muay Thai, with like my whole heart and passion. If I could go to Thailand for a year and bring my daughter, or even longer, if we can move there, I would. And and just fight and disappear and have no social media. And like, even if no one knew I was fighting, I would do it. Like, I really do love it that much, in the sense of like, I don't like, I enjoy being in there. That's my freedom,
Yeah. You ever run into Cyrus Washington out there?
Mm-mm.
You know who he is?
Mm-mm.
Black Dynamite. He's kind of...
Oh, I think I do, yes.
Yeah, he was in Texas and stuff. He was kind of like that. He was just out there fighting, just living out there long term.
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. And it's funny because people don't know who he is. I'm like...
I do know, though.
Yeah, he fought Left Way, all that stuff.
And that's the thing is, like, it's not even... it'll never be because I have to. It's never... I mean... Because that's the thing is like, yes, I'm a professional fighter, but there's a big difference between being a pro fighter and a fighter who fights for a living.
Yeah.
And I'd never planned on being like, I mean, I didn't really ever have aspirations to be in the UFC or fighting on like a stage like where I was going to be making a bunch of money. If it happened, great. But it's like,
that wasn't the goal of mine. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just being able to take all these factors of life, do a camp and like, whatever happens, like this last camp was a disaster. Like you and I personally talked about, like it was like I really had like half of a camp just due to life circumstance, right? Like in terms of like what I would say is acceptable in terms of like for my students of what I would be like not happy, right? But at the same time, like there's a time to push and then there's a time to not, and this was a time to push. And I'm very proud that I just went in. And like, because there's a lot of factors that I could have easily allowed myself to be like, okay, this is a reasonable reason to not do this right now. But it wasn't in my heart. It wasn't the right, like I would have regretted it.
Yeah. 100%.
If there were certain things that had happened and I was confident in my decision-making ability to do that. But like I said, it's the same thing. Like I use the example of tattoos as the same thing. Like I would be fully tattooed even if no one ever saw me. Like, it's just, I enjoy the art. Like, I love, like, I mean, I remember I had this one fight at Chiang Mai Boxing Stadium, and I always had this tradition, like, I would just go out of the stadium right after by myself, like, after, like, all the tourists want to take pictures, and I would just go smoke a cigarette, like, by myself, like, and I just, like, remember looking up, and just, for that second, you just felt like this tiny little happy speck in the universe. And none of my friends or family or anyone was there, and, like, when I just did this half marathon, no one was at the finish line, but to me, that was beautiful. Just like no one was there on my birthday when I kept walking, like thinking I was going to get out.
Yeah.
But the thing is the experience of doing it. Like, don't be bitter of what could have been, what should have been, like what you want. But it's like what you just did and the freedom that you just had is something that most people just won't be able to experience. And for that is like, well, I mean, I could be more grateful.
Maybe to be like present enough to even realize what's going on, that you have that moment, right?
For sure.
Yeah, because there's somebody checking their phone and shit like that.
Yeah, and like, so, I mean, and don't get me wrong, smoking cigarettes is bad. But anyway, but just like I said, like, if our bodies only have a certain amount of time. So, but I love doing this, and whether I get on social media or not about it, it's like, like I said, if I was able to just go and do it and be with like my loved ones, and also like the problem is that they're really, and it's not a problem, it's just I guess a counterweight is that I believe like through faith and with God that like I'm meant to try and help service other people and serve other people. And that's what takes me away. Cause I could make it happen and go there with my daughter Lana and my wife. And
not that far from the realm of possibility.
No, it's not. But the thing is that like, I'm not going to abandon what I feel like God's purpose is for me. And, and just following and being obedient in that, because it's like, I've, like I said, those moments that we've talked about to me are beautiful moments. I've gotten to live my dreams. It's a blessing every time I get to live my dream again. But at the same time, with that, time is always limited. So if I can be there to help others find their path, especially with Muay Thai, and that's what Kingdom is about, is that it's not about like we have our 2 fighters fighting this weekend. It's not about me or as a coach. It's not about the gym. It's about their experience and their path from here and who they become. Yeah. Like, and don't be wrong, I think like gym, like camaraderie is very important and, like support and all that. And they'll always be part of that team. But it'll never, ever be because of me wanting to be an esteemed coach or gym owner, because the truth is I've never wanted to be a gym owner. I really just...
That makes 2 of us.
Yeah. No, I really didn't, like, I like it's like I said, that want to serve and be there for other people. Yeah.
And people wanted it and they're like, I want to learn from you. Okay.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, and I tell them,
I guess I don't really want to, but sure.
Sometimes I'm a more of a do not do manual, I mean, like not technique wise per se, but like in the sense of like my training methods, like doing that half marathon after not training at all. Don't recommend for everyone, but like it's a great test of will. But
it's a good reason why my foot's messed up. I'm very much like that too.
Yeah, it's like
to do stupid stuff sometimes.
For sure. And like and I'm always prepared to have that talk with a person or anyone who trains with me when they're like, if they talk about they want to continue fighting. And I'll never direct it one way or another, but I'll listen and reflect what they're saying and like do my best to help push, like get them to where they want. And that's the biggest thing, is trying to help people figure out what it is that they want in life, like, and trying to get it to be as specific as possible so they can get there. And for me, following Muay Thai and following this path that God put me on is what's given me everything. Yeah. In the sense of it's taken me to be able to do stunts, like to do acting stuff, to do, to meet great people, be part of the WBC, like be state director. Like it was just following that path, but doing it diligently. And that's really how Kingdom became formed. There's no king of Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's just
the Kingdom. Yeah.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It's everyone's.
I can see that. I can tell by like your vibe when I visited your. I know it's new, but like, I would kind of be like, oh yeah, I'm like, oh, there's all this teams. Like, oh, there's the owner. I'm like, yeah, all of them. Like, Mark helped start the place.
Yeah,
that's how you are.
Yeah, like I mean, and that's kind of like, I mean, I want same with like with Kingdom Supply Co. and before it was Mad Kingdom and all that stuff, is like, it is whatever people want it to be, in the sense of like, I have a structure of what like Kingdom is as a business, in the sense of like a Muay Thai school, but in the sense of like, there's no set path for you, in the sense of like whatever your goals are, like I want to help with that. And in terms of like a hierarchy, it's like I'm in the same like slums in training as you are. Yeah, I'm training too. Like, I mean, and that's about sometimes it's good and bad, or hard, I should say, for students, because they can't really complain to me because the workout they just did is something I did earlier in the morning. Yeah, and I'm there doing it, part of it with you right now. Right. Yeah. Granted, the past month, like I've taken off, but for the most part, it's I like to practice what I preach, and like being completely fair and transparent. There's a lot of coaches that are past that age of ability and in life that they can't do that. So being able to do that is a blessing, and, and I don't take that for granted, in the sense of like I can do this with them, So, and that's really what I have always like wanted, is that like if my guys took over Kingdom, in a sense of like it became theirs, and I was just some guy that came and trained. That's my goal. My other goal is that if my students can beat my ass, then I've done my job. Yeah. Because that's kind of the, I was talking with Bob Carmel about this too, and that's something that's unique about Muay Thai, is in other martial arts, karate, kung fu, Wing Chun, taekwondo, you can never be better than the head guy, or whatever is perceived as the head guy. And Muay Thai is not the case. You have a coach. Their goal is to make you better than them. Exactly.
And that's like the key thing of it in the vibe of like the culture of like Muay Thai.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about BKFC and Muay Thai not being the same. It's kind of like.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And like, I think the respect aspect and just the honor behind it, you know, like honor is just like I think it gets lost sometimes when like sometimes people thank me for cornering them or something. It's like, no, thank you for like giving me the honor to like teach you and be there for you and support you in this step of your journey, because I know what it's like. Like I've been in that seat. So thank you for the opportunity to sit alongside you while you do this.
It's a lot of those things that people don't realize what they're doing when they do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, but you know, because you've been through it. You're like, I know what this is, how this is going to form this person or what it could do, right? Mm-hmm. And you look back on it, you're like, oh shit. Man, that was when they're, for example, hey, that's their first title they won before they became world champion later on.
For sure.
You don't know.
Like, and the thing is that the first champion that's going to be at Kingdom, I mean, we'll see who wins it. But the thing is most likely it won't be me, just due to timing, you know? Could be. You never know. I mean, you never know what comes my way. But point being is that I would be thrilled. Like, and like the trainer that I just brought in, Mike Pierce and like Ron Willie Whipple before, I hope my buddy Aaron Zachin comes in. Like, they're all killers. Like, I mean, they all have more experience than me. I mean, I brought you, and like my point is like I want to bring Crew Rich, and I want to bring people in who know more than me so they can teach. Like, you know, there's no ceiling, and that's why we promote like cross training, because yes, Muay Thai is a business and we want as many members as we can. But if I can send students to you and they can learn a bunch of stuff and bring it back, that's great. That is loyalty.
Yeah.
You know, and it's honor to the journey itself.
One of the things too, I think, when it goes into like, this is the reference I use for people. And when it comes into like cross training, I'm like, hey, like you, Kingdom, you guys are like the only like strict Muay Thai academy, right? That's out there. For us too, same thing. We're only Muay Thai place here. So have a bunch of MMA people that want to pull our guys out to come train. It's like, no, I want you guys to come here. That way you guys can come get training in. Yeah, I would like that. If we do open sparring, for example, hey, I want you to come here because it shows that we're the presence for stand up. You want to stand up striking, you come here, because we're the only one that option. Otherwise, everybody goes, oh, they're the same as this MMA place. It's like, no, we're not MMA.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's been but like in most part, I agree with you. What you're saying, because we have a lot of friends too that we go around to different places and we spar.
Yes,
but I am selective about it. I'm sure you are too.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. No, agreed.
Yeah.
So and that is the thing too that comes with it, is that you can go wherever you want. The thing is, if you decide that you want to go change your stance for a different sport, you best believe I'm going to correct you every time you walk in this door. In the sense of like, we do have that standard, in a sense of like, we are, I mean, there's Baka fight systems, there's a couple other Muay Thai gyms, but for our purposes, we're a strict Muay Thai school. And yeah, we are selective in terms of like who we bring in and what we teach, you know, like our curriculum, and we look to like honor the tradition in the sport. You know, so I agree with you completely in that regard. Yeah. It's more of in the overall sense, in the sense of being able to like if I wanted to send people to you or Crew Rich in Hawaii or any of the gyms that we've met, or Bob even, you know, like, because I think I hope that Bob and still coming out, I believe in Nick Chastain in June, I hope. So I'll talk to him this week about it.
Well, it kind of goes into like you were talking about like you probably won't be the first one to get a title, right, at your gym. Like it might not be you.
It might not.
Yeah. So it's like, for me,
I hope
I didn't bring a title from my gym.
Right.
You know, I never won a title.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've won a lot of titles.
Right.
With our academy in the past 10 years.
And that's exactly.
And it's like, for me, that was like from having nothing, right, to having something where it's like, hey, keep going. You know, and building that knowledge and networking and learning more and more from those that do it better.
Absolutely. That's spot on. Yeah. And that's why I feel like I've learned a lot from you.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've like learned a lot from Rich, you know, like, and I mean, just that in of itself is like, whether I do it or not, it's like I said, that's my own little piece of like what we've talked about in my life's tiny little speck, right? But the bigger picture is like, I'm not going to be, let's hope I'm not the one that wins the title. Yeah. I hope they beat me to it, you know, and like, I hope that me stepping on the gas in my training pushes them to do that, you know, because I was joking around this week because 3 of them won medals at their fights at few months ago, and they didn't bring him in. So I'm like, I'm going to do this half marathon. I'm going to have the first medal in here. I'm just letting you guys know. And they were like, oh, we're going to bring it in. And there's one medal in the gym, and it's mine. And it's rainbow, and it's covered in zoo animals. So
suck it. Come on, guys. Kingdom, come on, Tim. Come on, Kevin. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. You know, this is something that like I talk about with people because it's easy to downplay what your achievements are.
Mm-hmm.
That should be celebrated. Move on with it. But also, the team needs to celebrate it too.
Absolutely.
Right? That comes into it. That's kind of what you're getting at. For anybody else that's listening out there, it's like, hey, you need to bring that in. That's the team win too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, that's your personal win, but that's like, hey, everybody put that time into you.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
Everybody helped you get to there.
Oh, 100%. We could do a whole podcast of all the people I need to thank.
Yeah.
You know, like easily. Like, I mean, I think, to be honest, the hardest thing is after a fight is like wording a thank you post.
Yeah.
Because it's like there's no amount of words, and there's not enough space to thank all the people, you know, like who have gotten me here.
Yeah.
Like, because I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a long list, but there's a small list too that's been with me from the beginning. You know, there's very few that'll be with you at the beginning and the end, and there are some for me, and I'm very fortunate for that. And those are the people that have taught me the things that you're saying in the sense of being there and having those victories with this team.
Yeah.
You know, and celebrating that and celebrating them and focusing on them and their journey, because these guys and women like have put their time and their lives into me, you know, and that has shown me so much and made me so grateful that like it is beyond what I want to do for others.
Yeah.
You know, so if I can even come close to what they've done and helped me get to where I've been, which for me, like you said, I celebrate my journey. Like, I love what I've done in the sense of like, and I have no regrets in it, you know. To some, it's nothing. Like, I mean, obviously there's people who've done hundreds and hundreds of fights and so on and so forth, but it's like, this is what I've done with the time that I've had, you know. So I'm grateful for that. And I hope that I can, whatever that looks like with my guys, that they can find that same feeling with whatever they decide to do. And whether it's fighting and they get as far as they want with it, or if they fight for a little bit and coach, whatever. But I just know that Muay Thai has a way of connecting people, and the values behind it just really help create a culture. So that's the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, with that too, like where you're at now, you know, Kingdom Muay Thai, New Mexico just opened up like a few months ago. So let's say your team that you have right now exceed all your expectations, right? And you got to that point that you want this place to be in the next year. I know you're a planner. So you're there. What do you think is like one skill or tool that you utilize in your team that helped your team get that?
Say the question one more time.
So you're 1 year from now, right?
Yep.
Looking forward 1 year, and you're looking back to today. What's one tool that you did that worked for your team that allowed you to achieve that vision that you got for Kingdom Muay Thai?
One tool, because there's more than one I can think of, but I want to think of one.
The one. It could be two.
Failed.
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't know if you can say, like, I guess failure, not intentional failure.
Yeah.
But allowing them to watch the process of this, you know, like being part of it from the beginning, in the sense of how the trials and all that, you know. I mean, it'd be easy to say delegation, right? But the thing is I mean, all good leaders delegate. I mean, that's the thing, you know, and like, I entrust my guys. But I think the thing that makes this work is that they see that, like, where my shortcomings are in it, you know, like where the failures are, where the successes are, you know, and like, but really from where those failures, if, like you said, a year from now we succeed, it's a huge tool is going to be where it was and what things had to be fixed and changed and how that happened.
Yeah. So letting those failures happen, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And just having that faith. So faith, you know, but I mean, like, I think
failures and faith.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there's
Makes
so many
sense.
like tools that I could say that, I mean, like leadership or delegation, and not that those aren't valuable, but the thing is, I think like being real, you know, and honest. Like, that's the thing, is like, there's no hidden things really with my guys. Like they know, like I'm a human just like them. I bleed just like them. You know, like if I'm gonna go into a fight, I am mortal. I can lose just like them. You know, but I'm gonna, you know, like let them see all of it. And the same thing with the business. If it succeeds, it means that we succeeded.
Yeah.
Because we did it together. And if it fails, it's because we won't. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And if we fail, we will succeed. We just have to grow with it together.
Yeah.
But not keeping it all to myself. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if there's a term for that, you know, but in the sense of like being transparent, I'd say that's the tool, is transparency.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. Well, kind of to go through all this, I'm looking forward to seeing how that grows for you guys out there. Mm-hmm. So how can they find Kingdom Muay Thai again on Instagram?
So I believe
I think it's Kingdom Muay Thai NM, right?
Yes, it's Kingdom Muay Thai NM.
I'll make sure to put that down in the show notes for anybody that's watching or listening as well.
Yeah.
How can they get a hold of you if they want to reach out to you?
So my Instagram's Marcavelli, so it's Marckavelli. Sound like Machiavelli, Marcavelli. And then Facebook, it's Marc J. Entenberg, and and I'm also at Kingdom Muay Thai. I'll be at the USMTOs, and but no, I mean, if anything we can do to help anyone else, like or just have a conversation with anyone that needs it randomly, I'm always happy to do it.
Yeah, and if they're out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, or they're coming out there, they gotta come visit.
Absolutely.
Hey, you got some cool stuff that's coming down the pipes out there. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it at that, but I'm gonna say it's really some pioneer shit that's happening out there.
Yeah.
100%. And if you're interested in knowing what that is, let us know down in the comments too. But it's really exciting stuff. Like
you're gonna help.
Yeah. Well, we've thought. You showed me it. Literally, you showed me the vision. And I was like, oh, that's fucking dope. So,
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
When we first met, what did you think?
I had no idea who you were.
No, not like that. But I mean, what was your overall our first Zoom meeting conversation?
You seem like a professional person.
Oh, you're too nice.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
I'll take it, but I don't know.
I mean,
I really appreciate it.
I mean, truthful. I'm like,
no, for sure. I appreciate it. But sometimes, like, I know with myself, like with visions sometimes, or like the big ideas, I can be like, so like.
But the thing is, you showed me this like, without going too much into details, but you showed me these schematics and these things, and you showed me this very real shit that was going on. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh man, he's doing this. Oh, okay, it's not just like a pipe dream. And I was talking to Bob about this stuff when he was laying out this stuff for people back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. It was like, oh, I knew about that. I'm like, oh, this happening again.
Yeah.
So like for me, it's not like out of the realm of possibility. So I was like, oh, cool.
I was hoping you were gonna say I was a crazy person.
I mean,
I'm joking.
If there's a time for something like this, I think now is an excellent time for it.
Yeah.
And then after being in New Mexico and seeing how the fight community is there and stuff, and like have it like, it's one thing to like see it on TV and hear about it, but like to be there, it reminded me a lot of Hawaii and Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Love to fight, great community.
Agreed.
And everybody gets behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's going to be a great thing to unite the community and, really get rid of that division.
So, hey, I got to ask real quick, left or right kick?
I mean, sorry, computer, so.
Huh?
Right low kick.
Right low kick.
Sorry. For orthodox, right low kick.
Right low kick. Okay. And then, so for clinching, curls or no curls?
Yes, ever. For life, no curls.
No curls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not just for clinch.
Okay. None.
No, not necessarily.
Should they looking pretty bulky there?
I don't think so. I haven't done a curl. Yeah, we can do a whole podcast on. Well, let's ask you, curls or no curls? So now the camera's on.
The curls or no curls? I'm gonna say
for
like
Muay Thai.
Traditional curls, no.
Well, then what curls are we talking?
The ones that you do like when you're in town. You have the little quarter curls, the fast ones, the burnouts.
Yeah, but that's different.
But they're still technically curls, bro.
Yeah, but it's not like
not the bodybuilders trying to get a big old bicep curl.
That's not the curls we're talking about. And even so, I'd say that's like not necessarily necessary. It's good.
Yeah, it's not necessary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a good burn.
Yeah,
sure, but no curls.
Yeah, no curls. Okay, you heard it.
But I would love. And I would truly mean this. Like one of my favorite things is being proven wrong, and like I would love somebody to show me the science of, or just the experience. Like if there's some phenomenal Thai fighters out there. I will gladly listen and apologize publicly if they can show me how curls make sense.
Dude.
Because even the mic doesn't want to hear it anymore.
No, Mike's like, you're fucking dumb.
No, they don't want to hear about the bicep curls anymore. But point being is, I will gladly listen, but I have not heard any good evidence as to why, other than people wanting to mess with me. So I'll be ready.
We'll leave it at that, Mark. Well, if you're watching this on YouTube, go smash the subscribe button. If you're listening to this, stay tuned for more. And you can always submit questions there in the show notes as well. There's a link, podcast.pu'umuaythai.com.
Thank you very much, Jonathan. I really appreciate the time.
Thanks for coming in today, brother.
Thank you, man.
All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning in today to the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast. If you enjoy the content, go leave a review over on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Give us a rating. It means the world to us. Also, if you want to be a guest on the Pu'u Muay Thai Podcast, or if you just want to shout out to your friend, go check us out at podcast.pu'umuaythai.com. You can submit to be able to be a guest on the podcast. You can submit what you want to talk about. Also, if you want to just give a shout out, there's a button for that too. Sawadee Kop.